Continuing the account of the April 21st, 1584, of the Common Era record from a true and faithful relation of what passed for many years between Dr. John Dee and some spirits, published in Meric Casaubon in 1659, and in the Edward Kelly said, "Whether this is language known in any part of the world or no, if it be, where, and to whom." Now in the margin we have Adam, we have Coronzom, but in the actual cotton manuscript itself, it's Coronzom. Coronzom. Note the two be true languages. Adam his speech after the fall. Litea 21, Lingua, Angelica, Linga, I guess it's Linga, not Lingua, but Angelica, Angelias, vel Adamica, Ensu, Inocentis, Slalin, or is it Staten? But the entity calling itself Gabriel said, "Man in his creation, being made an innocent, was also authorized and made partaker of the power and spirit of God, whereby he not only did know all things under his creation and spoke of them properly, naming them as they were, but also was partaker of our presence and society, yea, a speaker of the mysteries of God." Yea, with God himself, so that in innocency the power of his partakers with God and us, his good angels, was exalted, and so became holy in the sight of God. Know that Coronzom, for so is the true name of that mighty devil. Envying his felicity, and perceiving that the substance of his lesser part was frail and unperfect in respect of his puresse, began to assail him, and so prevailed that, offending so, became accursed in the sight of God, and so lost the garden of felicity, the judgment of his understanding, but not utterly the favor of God, and was driven forth, as your scriptures record, unto the earth, which was covered with brambles, where, being as dumb and not able to speak, he began to learn of necessity the language which thou, Edward Kelly, callest Hebrew, and yet not that Hebrew amongst you, in which he uttered and delivered to his posterity the nearest knowledge he had of God and his creatures, and from his own self divided his speech into 3 parts, 12, 3, and 7, the number whereof remaineth, but the true forms and pronunciations want, and therefore it is out of that force that it was in his own dignity, much less to be compared with this, that we deliver, which Adam barely spake in innocency, and was never uttered or disclosed to man, since, till now, when the power of God must work, and wisdom in her true kind be delivered, which are not to be spoken of in any other thing, neither to be talked of with man imaginations, for as this work and gift is of God, which is all power, so doth he open it in a tongue of power, to the intent that the proportions may agree in themselves. For it is written, Wisdom sitteth upon an ill, I'm sure that's supposed to be hill, and behold, the four winds, and girdeth herself together, as the brightness of the morning, which is visited with a few, and dwelleth alone, as though she were a widow. Thus you see there the necessity of this tongue, the excellency of it, and the cause why it be preferred before that which you call Hebrew. For it is written, every less consenteth to his greater. I trust this is sufficient. Edward Kelly says, as concerning the power, what is it? Gabriel said, what it is, that it is, for the knowledge of it may lead you to error. Dee said, this answer offended greatly Edward Kelly, and thereupon he let off, and would receive no more at their hands. God make him patient, and a favourer of this action, as soon as it is needful that he should be. Dee said, Laudetur magnificetur eo extollatur nomen Jesu Christe in omne avam. Amen. Now, called Hebrew. In the period where the initial versions of all the texts that we now might call the Old Testament existed, it was called Aramea. It wasn't limited to the Jews or the Hebrews or something, so no, people didn't call it that. As Judaism by name became popular, eventually you ended up with the Hebrew language. But the people in what the Romans were calling Palestine, they called it that to insult the Jews, but because the Jews, the mythical enemy of the Jews, well, if you play games, you end up with Palestinian, and that's where that comes from. But you had anywhere from 22 to 30 letters. 23 really is the most that would be necessary. I understand splitting the ayin and the ba most of all, but there are other splits in that regard. And then there's the mark that the double letter, that are that sort of thing. But that's not quite the same thing as a letter itself. But you have to make it easy, the AMSH, the air, water, fire, and in the middle of that you have the T, a hard K, but that would be the Earth, but it would also be Saturn. So you're talking the group that's 7. You have B, G, D. There's P, R, T. Oh, and I forgot K. So B, well, this is where the attributes of these things start to get a little blurred in Kabbalah sources, I guess. But I think of the B as Mercury, the G as Moon, the D as Venus, the K as Jupiter, the P as Mars, the T as Saturn, the R, between those last two, I messed up with the number order, as the Sun. And let me interrupt my comment here. Note on Tuesday in the afternoon, Kirku horum cortum, as we two sat together, Edward Kelly said that he thought upon the matter, et quod jam velit tuas horas mehe concadir singulis de epis ad recipienda ella qua elle tradere velent ego autem ille eo maximo deo gratias ege quia hanc esse mutationem dextra excelsi factum vere judicave nam ante prandiem rigidissimus erat in contraria appione eo sententia. So, April this afternoon. And so, then we have the zodiac. So, the zodiac signs would be H, Aries, V, Taurus, Z, Gemini, CH, making the ch sound, Cancer, TH, the sound, Leo, Virgo would be Y, L would be Libra, N would be Scorpio, S, but a F, not a S, F, would be, what's the, Sagittarius, A-E, or A backwards A apostrophe A, or just a backwards apostrophe, or however you want to say it. That would be Capricorn. We have TZ would be Aquarius, and Q would be Pisces. And we could say that the TZ could be a ts, or even a kra, tra, tra, tra. There's variations that have been made on that sound, but as far as the other letters, the bug, duck, pert. Others might say that you have Moon, Mars, Sun, Venus, Mercury, Saturn, and Jupiter as the order, and that's actually the more traditional Kabbalistic order for that.